One of the questions that I get a lot when I bring these two pistols out to the range is, first of all, what makes them different from a regular 1911, and then what is different about them each respectively. So we're gonna have a real quick breakdown. Over here on the left, I have an STI Edge 9mm 2011. And over here I have the Rock Island TAC A1 in 9mm, also a 2011. So, real quick, 2011, what's that mean? Basically, a 2011 is the same operating mechanisms as a 1911. You've got the same straight pull trigger, same slide lock, same safety, beaver tail safety, hammer, only fires in single action, and that is that. But it's double stack. So for example, in my Rock Island, these magazines will hold 20 rounds, 21 sometimes, but it tends to be forcing them a little bit more than I like. In the STI, my STI magazines hold 23. So a little bit of an advantage to this one. So real quick, why do I like it? I have always really liked the feel of a 1911 trigger. I like the tunability of them. I like the weight behind it. I'm just quite a bit of a 1911 fanboy. The downside to them, they are expensive. So let's get in. I guess that'll bring us into some of the differences. So the Rock Island, I believe starting price is right about $700. I think is what I paid for this one. Obviously, I have some modifications into it. All said and done, I probably have about 1,200 in extra parts, tooling, smithing, grips, Cerakote, so on and so forth to make this exactly what I want it. But base, the stuff that I've added is this texturing on the side. I don't know if you can see that, the serrations. Porting the slide to lighten it up, tri-topping the slide to lighten it up, grips, trigger. I added a single side safety. Normally this has a ambidextrous. I shoot with a very high grip and that safety gets in the way on the other side. But it does already come with a mag well. It does come with grips. I mean, obviously it has a trigger. I just swapped it out. I like a longer trigger. I have quite large hands. Just it's an easier angle for me. So originally this was a fine gun. I did run into a few extractor issues. I have replaced this extractor and gone through about 3 of them, tuning them, finding the right one, finding which one works. This one finally worked. Currently it's got a Wilson Combat, and all it was doing was it was very ammo picky. It wouldn't eject or extract rather a lot of different ammunitions. Fiocchi and Magtech did, but your Remingtons, your Winchesters, your surplus styles would not run through this gun at all. Now, this one, Tack Rail, obviously you could see that, and it is entirely steel. This is all one piece, all the way down, dust cover, all the way down back, just like on a regular 1911. It is very square. It is very hard to modify because it is steel. It is also very heavy. Empty, this thing is probably about 3.5 pounds. The weight of some rifles. So, not light, but also it doesn't recoil very much, especially after I lighten the slide. Now moving over to the Edge, these retail, I believe you can get them now for right around $1,800, $1,900. So quite a bit more expensive than the Rock Island. Your fitment is going to be a lot tighter. This has some of the tightest. You can still hear it a little bit. Bear in mind, I personally have about 10,000 rounds on this gun easily. Everything operates on it flawlessly. It has great sights out of the box. You got Dawson precision sights. Things I've added, again, a single side safety for the exact same reasons I did it on the Rock Island. I've added the grip on it. There's a whole bunch of different companies that you can get grips through. These are extreme grips. I really like the feel of them. They're a lot more rounded than the Rock Island. I'm not sure how well that'll show up. They're a lot more aggressive. These grips are separate from the frame. So the frame is going to be your dust cover coming on back to right there. You can see where my grip starts and my frame right there. This gun is quite a bit lighter than this one, especially fully loaded out. Now, this one does not have a tack rail. STI does have models with tack rails. DVC-3 gun. You're going to be paying a little bit more for those ones. This one also has a Dawson Precision Aftermarket Magwell. This is my competition gun. This just makes it that much easier to catch with a mag. This one has a bull barrel. This one has, let me close them both. This one has a bushinged barrel, more like your typical 1911s, whereas the bull barrel, you can see no bushing. Both have fiber optic sights. Both are very accurate firearms. I modify all my guns to fit me. As we go through this and I start looking at other ones, you'll start to notice that a lot of them are specific to how I shoot and how I like to have my gear set up. Example being, on the Rock Island, my grip safety does nothing. I shoot a very high grip, and coming out of a holster, I have a very bad tendency of not engaging that grip safety, so I disable it. Same thing with the STI. This is pinned. There's a pin coming up through my back strap into my grip safety, so that doesn't do anything. Magazines. Let's talk mags. So talking about mags, I've got multiple options for each gun. We'll start with the Rock Island. So my basic mag is a Para P18 mag tube. You can buy them with flat metal base plates. You can buy them, I think there's like 4 different base plates that come with it. I was buying just the basic ones, ripping the base plate off and throwing a Dawson extended base plate on there. What that allows me to do is get 2 more extra rounds in each mag, and it gives me something if I have some sort of a malfunction and I have to reef on this mag for whatever reason, I've got something to grab onto that I can do that with. You can see I can get a pretty good hold on this thing just from that. Now, one thing to watch out for with this gun is because of this mag well, it is kind of picky about which mags it takes. So these Dawsons, these work fine. Absolutely fantastic. They hold in there, they drop free, they're great. The ones with just the standard metal base plate, just the flat piece of sheet metal, from what I've heard, I've never tested them myself, do not work in these. And the original mags have this angled base plate on there. Now, the original one that came with it, that is actually marked 22 TCM, which is one of Rock Island's things that they're doing, is they're selling these 2011 9mm with an interchangeable barrel for 22 TCM. And so this mag will work with both. 22 TCM is a 9mm neck down to a 22, it's my understanding. I've never dealt with it personally, so if I'm wrong on that, somebody in the comments, let me know. But these mags have a very tight fit in here. And you can see there's just a little bit of room on the sides. The metal base plate does allow them to drop free quite easily. Some of them that I saw online and some of them that I purchased had a plastic version of the same thing. Fit was perfect. They just didn't drop free quite as easy. I imagine a good polish up job on them and it would not be an issue. So those are the mags for the Rock Island. Moving on to the STI, I've got 2 options here. First one, this is a Gen 1 STI magazine. Comes with all your standard Gen 1 STI Magazine little finickiness. So this is tuned to where you can see this is milled down quite a bit right there. This will not hold the slide back on empty, neither will this one. The Gen 2, I've heard people say that they're getting a lot better performance out of. They said they're a lot less finicky. These Gen 1s, you had to tune the feed ramps. In addition to that, you have to, if you're running 9mm, throw a spacer in there. Some guys say they didn't have to. Mine would not run without it. I was malfunctioning about every third round. So those are some of the fixes that they made with the Gen 2. I don't have any. I have moved most of mine over to these MBXs. On these, I run a Dawson Precision base plate. This gives me a total mag capacity reloadable of about 20. It'll fit 21, but I am forcing them in there, and it doesn't like to seat very smoothly. What I have changed over to using primarily are the Mbx Mags. These are the 9mm. These are 23 round magazines. They do come with a 23rd round indicating hole. I believe this one is 10. These also do not hold the slide back on your last round. And they're just as easy to take apart. That simply comes out. You will notice that the MBX follower is quite a bit skinnier. Some people have reported that they're having follower tilt problems. The follower is tilting inside the mag tube, and that is causing rounds to go haywire and causing the mag to bind up and jam. I have not run into that issue, but be aware that that is something that I have heard. Got a couple friends that said they had that happen to them. They moved over to the STI Gen 2 mags. I like these. I like the follower. That's the short follower is what allows you to get the 23 rounds in here from my experience. A lot of the aftermarket followers basically look very similar, if not identical, to this, that accomplish the same thing out of a STI mag. Biggest difference, these with the base pad and the part, and I believe this is the extended spring, are running right around $100 per mag. Whereas the MBX, which comes with everything that you see here, all set, ready to go, doesn't require a spacer, is about 130 bucks. So neither is a very cheap option. These I like a little bit better. They feel a little bit better to me. That might just be because, you know, I'm paying $130 for it, so my brain is telling me that it must be better because it's so much more expensive. I don't know. I certainly hope that's not it, but as you can see, these fall away just fine. No issues there. And so that is what I prefer to run as far as magazines go. That wraps it up for this video. If you guys have any more questions on these two guns, let me know. We'll be having a lot more content coming out, hopefully in the near future. More reviews on firearms that I have, more reviews on gear that I've got, different firearm related things. If there's something specific that you're looking for, let me know. Hit me up in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. So yeah, thanks for taking a look at the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you next time.